Arise. Jinwoo's slogan, word, to be able to get the shadows out of the dead enemies that he ends up facing off against, which is the word also, which I want you to click off if you haven't already read any of the webtoon or the manga, because this will be spoilers. Okay, I'm hoping that you've clicked off at this point in time so I can say what I need to say. So basically, Jinwoo used the command Arise at the end of Season 1. The other person that also used Arise was the Monarch. Jinwoo could have used any word, any phrase, any word that he could have come up with. It could have been rise. It could have just been like come forth. It could have been move. It could have been awaken. It could have been rise. It could have been whatever word that you wanted it to be, but he chose arise. Why? Well, that's what this video is going to be about. And I know that took about a minute for me to get into, but if you're still here, you're a trooper. I love you for that. And let's get into this whole aspect of how we're all reincarnated beings. We might not necessarily know it to be true, but I talked about this in a little bit around the Rick and Morty episode that I did the last video that I ended up posting as well too. And it kind of brought it into this mind as well too. Like it brought me to this idea where it's just like, we can arise. Like we all have words or phrases that we use because we were preconditioned or predetermined to have that word in our vocabulary for some way, shape, or form. Because we find out later in solo leveling that the shadow of the monarchs, or the monarch or the shadows, also used the word arise whenever he would defeat his enemies and needed them to rise up. But it's just like, how did Jinwoo knew that? He didn't, but the system did. And somehow that system was within him. I mean, the system was within him, and there's probably words or phrases that you also use that you're like, where did this come from? How do I know this to be true? And it's just like, because you have something else, something within you that is compelling you to use that said phrase, that is compelling to use that said moment to move you forward, to help you like grow, evolve, change, transform, whatever word that you want to, because you are also a part of a system. You're also trying to level up. You're playing the game of life. And the game of life is one that you get to decide the rules. You get to create your own reality. You get to create your essence. You get to create everything around you, which is the most exciting part. However, there's a caveat to this. You might not necessarily be who you think you are. In all likelihood, you aren't. You have no idea who you are. I know I didn't for the longest time. And if I didn't know that, then what makes you so sure that you know who you are? And it's always going to be a lifelong journey trying to understand this and figure these things out. But like Jinwoo, he didn't know what was a part of him, but he knew that he wanted to figure out what the system was. He knew that he wanted to figure out what that game was. He knew he wanted to figure out why he was chosen, what was happening with him, and what was going on. And if you're watching my videos up until this point, you are also going to be one of those chosen people, because you're deciding to watch these videos when nobody else is. So you're clearly making the right steps. You're clearly making the right progressions, because you do want to level up. You do want to become stronger. You do want to understand your essence. You do want to understand why you became here and why you are here and what your purpose is and why everything is working out in your favor. You do want to understand those things, which is the most exciting, most amazing part to this whole thing. So Jinwoo used Arise because the Shadow of the Monarchs used Arise. But it's just like, how? And this is a question that I'll continually ask myself. It's a question that I believe you need to start asking yourself as well too, is like, what words or phrases did you choose to label it as this specific thing because of somebody else that caused you to name it as that specific thing? There's a philosopher. I can't remember the exact philosopher's name, but there was a video that I was popping up in my head is like, everybody like, okay. So let me ask you, like, what is a chair? Like, can you define what a chair is? Is a chair just something that you sit in? Does it have to have 4 legs? Can it have wheels? Can a couch be a chair? Or is a couch a couch? But it's like you can sit in a couch, but does it make it a chair? I mean, you can sit also on like a countertop. Does that make it a chair? Like, does the chair, not all chairs have backrests. Some have like just flat tops. Does that make it a chair or is it a stool? Like, what does it make it at that point in time? And that's why it's like words are so important, and having the clarification, understanding where those words came from is a very, very meaningful purpose to understand. Because with Jinwoo saying arise, he was saying arise because the monarch of the shadows had said that prior to him. So it was pre-programmed into him as soon as he became the chosen one. And this can also happen to you as well too, as you start to open up your mind and as you start to experience new things, and as you have more conversations, as you start to listen and read more books and maybe watch different animes or listen to different like mangas or whatever it may be, like your mind will start to open up into ways that it originally wasn't, which is insane to think about, that your mind has the capability to like create and connect all these different neurons. Because like, and this is something that Christians will get mad at me for saying, but that's okay, because they believe that they're going to end up in a place in heaven somewhere. But it's like, if you really want to end up in a place somewhere in heaven, then wouldn't you rather just like go to that place now, since it's the all-being place? But it's like, I believe there's things where it's like, well, if you kill yourself, you're not going to make it. But then it's like, well, what happens if you just die? Like, you're not killing yourself, but what if somebody else kills you? And it's just like, well, you still go, but it's like, but then you have all these other things that you have to make up for. And it's just like, oh, bro, it's challenging. So we're just going to say that like reincarnation is a thing, because it is. Because energy, I believe it's Newton's third law, energy can't be created nor destroyed, and that's basically all we are, is we're energy. Like, you have the energy to turn on the lights, you have the energy to wake up, you have energies to make food, you have the energy to move like your bones, your energies to beat your heart, to breathe your lungs, to move your brain. So it's like, there's all energies. And plus, like, when you think about it too this way, you're probably in all likelihood doing certain things that your parents have done beforehand, because it got pre-programmed into your brain. Because the most powerful computer in the world, if you don't know already, it's your brain. The neurons in the brain can extend more than the billions of stars out in the galaxy. So it's just like, you might as well let your brain do the work that it knows how to do, because the creator, our God, whatever you want to believe in, whatever word you want to use, bestowed that upon us, just as the shadow of the monarchs bestowed the power of the shadows upon Jinwu. We have these inherent traits within us because we have the capabilities to do that. It's just a matter of waking up to that trait. And I do believe that everybody else in solo leveling could level up in the same way that Jinwu did. It's just they had self-limiting beliefs on themselves. Like, yeah, sure, Jinwu, he did have like the system within him and telling him like what he had to do, and he had to go to different places. Not everybody had that, and other people were training, but it's just like, there was a certain person in the anime or in the manga, in the webtoon, whatever word, I don't know if it's a manga or webtoon because it's from Korea. She could help increase other people's powers. So it's like, clearly their powers weren't set at a specific limit. It's just they chose to believe that that was the limit of the powers that they wanted to go to. And you can probably think about this in any other anime that ever comes up too, is like, there's never a power limit on the main character, regardless of how down in the dumps they seem. Somehow they're able to pull themselves up. And where do you think that comes from? That comes from the shadow of the monarch. That comes from your internal self. Because even in the anime, before it ends, there's a part where Jinwu is almost at his ends, almost at his defeat, and then his past self, his little E-rank self, comes back in. And this happens to me all the time, dude, and I have to recognize it myself and be like, that's not me anymore. Like, I'm fighting, I'm stronger, I'm more capable, I'm more willing, and I am able to do these things that I never could do beforehand because I've gone through all these trials and tribulations. And when Jinwu was able to do, and he looked at himself again from the past shadow, that wasn't his past self. It was his past self, but it was the shadow of the monarchs. That you later find that out in like in the webtoon, that like the shadow of the monarchs is able to like transform into any body, any being, any person that they want to, and then he's able to decide on whether or not he wants to use that or not use that. So the shadow of the monarchs, his subconscious, his inner self, his inner critic, was testing him to see like, are you going to go back to the way that you were, or are you truly going to move forward? Are you truly going to try different things? Like, you guys can even look back on my content. Like, if you went back to my older videos, I was talking more and trying to give it more of like a relationship to the anime itself, which I still do that in a sense. But now I'm adding different concepts and ideas and perspectives that, in all likelihood, you're not getting this anywhere else. I've never seen this. I've never heard anybody talk about this in this anime community. I've never once seen something like this. So either that means it's a good thing and this is going to be helping out a lot of people, or it means that this is a complete flop, which I don't see that being the case by any means, because like the first rule of marketing is to be first, and that's what I'm doing with this, because then everybody's going to start copying me or trying to do it from this different perspective as well, but they won't be able to do it my way, just as you won't be able to do it my way, and just as I can't do it your way, because you're your own individual person. But the person inside of you, your shadow of your monarch, your subconscious, your inner critic, your inner voice, your inner self, he's the one that can do everything. He's the one that can bestow the power upon you. He's the one that gives you the words that you use to be able to rise the enemies. That helps you understand, like, yeah, rise is the right word that I want to use. Okay, this is the thing that I want to go do. I want to go talk to this person. Okay, these are the questions that I'm going to ask. Okay, these are the things that I need to overcome. Okay, where did I get this from? Well, it's because I got this from all the genes and the past experiences that have been passed down to me time and time and time again. It's why maybe you're a child prodigy. It's maybe why you're a middle-aged 30-year-old living in the mom's basement or whatever it may be. Like, it's why you are the person that you are, is because of your past experiences. And it's not just in this lifetime. It's in other lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes ago, even though you were the one that decided to live this life that you're living right now. I know that's very hard for you to understand. It's been hard for me to understand, but it's true. You were the one that decided to live this life. You were the one that decided to live the life that you're living right now and have to go through the experiences that you're going through right now. And once you understand that it's your own doing, that's when things start to get fun. That's when you start to level up. That's when you can start to use your words. That's when you can start to connect with your inner self. That's when you can start to connect with the shadow of monarch within you. That's when you can start to become more. That's when you can start to evolve and actually enjoy your life compared to just going by the flow. It's all about gamifying it. It's why it worked for Jin Woo. It's why when all the other shadow of the monarchs were like, how are you able to be so powerful in this body? It's because Jin Woo trained his body as I trained my body to let the God essence work through me and be like, yo, I can withstand this power. I can withstand this power because I have shown that, like, I did my runs, I did my exercises, I did my lifts, I did my combat training. I've done everything that I need to, and I'll keep leveling up every single day, even if it's little by little, because the higher the levels you get, the longer it will take for you to level up, because it's more micro, subtle stuff. But, like, as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep trying, like, you're never going to not level up. The only time when you do stop leveling up, that's why Jin Woo, like, even when he reached level 100 and he had all of his shadow army and had all these other people that could, like, just go into the dungeon by himself and do the work for him, he's like, no, I'm still going to be there, because he still wanted to level up. He still wanted to get strong. He still wanted to test his traits and his willingness to grow, because he understood how it felt to feel weak. It's how I felt. So it's just like, why would I give up on something that made me stronger, that has built my character, that has made me more than I was beforehand, that has helped me protect my mom, help her re-wake her up, help my sister, help my other sister, like, help all these other people around me, because I decided to be the man to show up, to be who decided to go out and train and go out on his own and become strong and go into the dungeons and fight all these battles and fight all these demons and use words from my past experiences such as Arise to help me find that, like, yeah, there is something within me that's already calling me, that's already been calling me. And listening to that said thing, that is what controls us. That's what moves us forward. So once you surrender to that, that's when things get exciting. That's when you go out and you level up, and then something will manifest or create itself within you, and all of a sudden you become free. And you're able to create whatever you want to create. Awesome. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing. Not even consider. Just click that subscribe button, dude. Like, you made it to the end of this video. Made it to the end of a 13-minute video of a dude talking about solo leveling. Like, if you can't click that subscribe button, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm not asking you to give me your fucking leg and a heart right now, or even any cash. All I'm saying is, like, click that red subscribe button. It's really not that hard. It's a little button on the screen. I do it all the time for other YouTubers that I watch. It doesn't take anything away from you. It's completely free. All it does is it helps me feel better about my ego, even though my ego is not fragile. It's like, I mean, you can not subscribe if you want to, but just subscribe, dude. It's free. It doesn't take anything away from you. It doesn't even really give me anything, because regardless, like, I mean, as you have probably known at this point in time, like, I've been making videos for 3 years. 3 years, almost 4 actually at this point, come September, which is crazy on this channel. Channel's not even monetized, bro. You really think it's an extra sub or two is really going to have that big of an impact on me? It's cool to see, but it's not going to change my mood, because I'm already happy. I'm already exactly where I need to be. Things are working out in the exact ways that they need to, just as they are for you as well too. So start using your words. Understand the words that you are using. Maybe look at the words that and where they came from, and see if maybe they're coming from some subconscious or some different outside source that, like, was preconditioned into you. Or maybe it's just your own neurology that's creating the neurons in the brains that are firing in the ways that they need to. You're the only one that gets to decide on that. So hope you guys enjoy. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Later.